So with Mr. B, we were going to practice a little bit with going to his cot. He says, lady, I haven't done this yet. So Mr. B says he gave himself a little bit of a leash wedgie. Ready? So in the beginning, if your babe has never worked with a tether, remember that I know you guys were going to start implementing this at home for little moments where he needs a little break or a breath in between working some other skills. And so that way he's still there with you, but is not intimately on top of you. So I did bring out a little bone for him just so in case he wanted to try it, he could give it a shot. But when you're practicing or setting up with the lovely tethering system, I would recommend to make sure that you show him where the end of the lead is, get him to feel comfortable trying the behavior. So we're going to toss a little food, get him off the cot. Nice job there. And then we're going to try again to lure him back onto his bed. Yes. Nice, gorgeous. So we'll get all those toesies on there. We'll see if we can get a little sit from him. Gorgeous. So the benefit of having a tether is, again, stay. We could start to implement a little bit more distance from the dog while also making sure the puppy can't wander or get into mischief while you maybe are not constantly looking in their direction. So this way, too, you don't have to be the one attached to the dog by the lead to try to keep them in their spot. So if, let's say, Mr. B gets up, no big deal, we could lure him back onto his bed, try to regain that little sit and tell him once more to stay, and then work it a few more little reps. I would recommend to, again, keep this short and sweet, for greater success. So your puppy is, again, feeling comfortable with the tether system, but also feeling comfortable with the exercise we're working on. So right now, as Mr. B is working this, I might, again, kind of meander. If he's having a little bit of a moment where he gets on and off, not the end of the world. We're building up that going to our target has great value. So if sometimes we wiggle, not a big deal. The main goal is just make sure that as you're practicing with your tether, he's like, Lydia, I thought you were going to throw a snack, is that your puppy is not getting tangled. So if the tether is too big or the situation is harder than your puppy can handle for the time, I would definitely recommend to practice the cot and practice your bed behaviors before you start just trying to instantly put them with a tether as well. Because sometimes if we start to clump things, it could become a little too hard for starters. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and tell him to stay. And as he's kind of hanging out, I might add a little bit of movement, but I don't want to get too far from the handsome guy. So I'm going to feed him for that. Nice, kind of wiggle around. Gorgeous. And then feed for this again. Nice. And we might even jackpot every once in a while. So remember, multiple teeny crumbs for the great behavior. Yes, and feed. What a good boy. So again, he's just rocking a little bit of a sit on his mat. If we're having a little bit of a harder time, it is towards the end of his stay. So he is getting a little bit exhausted if you can't tell. So we'll give Mr. B a little break, but he did a really, really great job on the tether when we practiced earlier too. So I'll give him a little break, unclip the handsome guy, and he can be a free man. But when practicing at home, guys, make sure to take your time with him. Make sure you're not rushing steps and check to see what is his comfort range like. If he's looking like he's a little bit more apprehensive, you may find maybe work a few skills first, get him a little bit more tired or cozy, and then start to implement some of the settles with the attachment to your tether. So, but Mr. B did awesome today. So we'll call it a day for Mr. Handsome and give him a break, and then Dad will be here soon to get your handsome babe.